Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Alston, and it is once again my pleasure to be here today to give you quality programs such as the BMWC podcast. And today we have another corporate sponsor who is here. She's very dynamic. She's all over social media with her talk shows and radio shows and podcasts. She has a whole lot going on, and we're going to be talking to her a little bit later after we do this intro. But I want to also let people know that when you come here to the BMWC podcast, I need you to like, share, and vote for your favorite podcast participant. Listen to their stories and vote for your favorite. Share the information to those who may need this type of stuff, because guess what? The BMWC is here to not only unify our businesses from across the nation and your career from across the nation, we're also here to share needed information for you to make an informed decision about your endeavors in your business or career. So make sure that you visit all of the pages that we're going to have in this season. We have more than 50 people on this podcast. And then on top of that, we also have 2016, 2017, and 2018 that you can also check out. So make sure that you have a pen and piece of paper, go to all these pages, pick someone, listen to their story, understand what they're trying to do, and then reach out to them if you have a question. Now, before we get into our exciting interview today, I want to take a moment to thank our corporate sponsors who's helping us to make this a huge success, which are My Financial Home, Evangelism Radio, J&F Enterprises, Sears Consulting, Autism Families Rock, Awakening to Love, Eli Natoli, Kimberly McLemore, True Synergy, and Platinum Financial Services, along with all of our participants who is helping to make this season a success as well. So as I said at the top of the hour, we are here with one of my BMWC corporate sponsors, Kimberly McLemore, who is the CEO of Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and she's also co-founder of Talk Radio and TV, LLP. She's also a speaker, podcast host, and radio TV host. She has been in the business for quite a while, and most of her experience has come from her family, who is also in entrepreneurship. Her father has been in business for more than 50 years, and she has taken this trait to newer heights in her business. As a small business consultant and certified self-publisher trainer, she is also a book coach, and she is going to be talking about this and many more things in her podcast recording today. So I want to welcome Kimberly McLemore to the podcast. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing, sweetheart? Welcome to the podcast. And I am so appreciative of you supporting this platform as a corporate business sponsor. So thank you so very much.
Well, you're welcome, Ann, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this podcast, because I think it's going to be a phenomenal opportunity to do this interview today, and looking forward to getting started.
Okay, absolutely. So why don't you introduce yourself? We all know your name's Kimberly McLemore, but talk about where you came from, where you grew up, your interests as you were growing up, and how did it lead you to the Women's Small Business Initiative?
So my name is Kimberly McLemore, and as Ann said, that I am an entrepreneur, an author, I'm a motivational speaker, radio, TV, and podcast show host, and a military veteran. I am originally from Davenport, Iowa, which is a town in the Midwest area. I was born and raised there. I come from a family of four. I am the youngest out of the family of four. There's two of us. I have an older brother who is actually located in the Florida area, and my parents, of course, are still located in Davenport, Iowa. I graduated from the area in 1984, came into the military, did 14 years within the military. But within the time frame that I was raised in Iowa, I come from a family, as Ann mentioned, of actual entrepreneurship. My father has been in business for more than 50 years, and my parents have been a huge pillar of that community for many, many years with the business that my father has owned, and they have had several other businesses throughout the 50 years as well. Also, as far as coming from Davenport, Iowa, as far as the education that I have, I went to private schools there. It was a community where I was, it was predominantly, lived in primarily white communities, but I went to private schools. But those things that have helped me along the way of understanding what it means to be able to socialize, to be able to do business with all individuals within the community and outside the community, and also actually helped me, come into, when I came into the military, being that I was from a kind of a strict background and so forth, it's really been able to move me forward into where I'm at today when it comes to the community
Mhm.
and how I was raised, being from Davenport, Iowa.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask a question. So you mentioned that you were in the military and you served a good number of years there. Was this a choice that you made to go into the military, or was this any other type of influence that kind of gravitated for you to go into the military? And by the way, what branch of service did you serve?
Well, actually, yes, it was my choice. When I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I didn't go to college right away. So I decided to come into military because I actually had some influence by working at the Rock Island Arsenal, which is across the river. And most people who are a part of the military are very familiar, or work in any part of the government are familiar with the Rock Island Arsenal. And so I actually came into the Navy in 1984. I did 4 years of active duty. From there, I actually did 10 years of reserve duty. And within that 10 years of reserve duty, I did Naval Reserve, I did National Guard, and then I did Army Reserve. So I finished out my last 10 years or more in the reserves, and the Army was what I came out of in 1998.
Wow. Okay. And then somehow or another you were transitioning to your next venture and everything. And so what was, I would say, just maybe give like three major impacts that really propelled you in your career when you served when you served in the military. What was those three impacts that you walked away with?
Well, I think the main thing that I walked away with was that time management was huge, and I've been able to utilize that within my in my life, personally and professionally. Um, Being a leader was another huge piece, because one thing I've learned about being in the military, you're either gonna soar or you're gonna fail. There was never really a whole lot of in between, so I always thought that that was an important piece that I've been able to utilize out here in the outside world as well as professionally. And I think the other thing, being a team player was a huge part. We're never successful without working with each other. So those are the things, those are the three items that I was able to use, like I said, not just professionally, but also personally.
Fantastic. And so fast forwarding now, you're following in your father's footsteps with, your entrepreneurship, and you have your organization, Women's Small Business Initiative. What was the inspiring concept and, thing behind that, and what made you create that organization?
Watching my parents be in entrepreneurship and my father's being in it as many years, it's kind of embedded in me, and it's always something I've been the happiest at. And so, like I said, previously coming from Davenport, Iowa, I actually had a couple of businesses there. And when I moved into this community here in the Washington D.C. metro area, I decided to kind of lay back for a while, get my feet into the ground, and kind of figure out what it is I really wanted to do. So coming back in the corporate world was a part of how I maintained and decided, I really want to kind of get out of the world of being in a cubicle and get back into what I love, and that's being in business. And so being a small business consultant is a big part of what I do. I always love to see people take their ideas and help them bring them to fruition. And so that's what I decided to do by creating the Women's Small Business Initiative. And like I said, that particular business is an online platform. My biggest goal is to teach others how to create their networking environment without having to feel like you have to be in the room, but to be able to provide good products and services and other resources to help each other soar, as well as communicate with each other in a different format. So that's the reason why I came up with the WSBI.
Okay, awesome. And so, during your experience with your organization, do you find that there is a huge gap when it comes to women entrepreneurs in terms of, having a really good foundation behind them and, or maybe kind of speak on some of the major concerns that they always voice when they come to you and ask for assistance?
I think that I don't know if there's so much a huge gap when it comes to foundation. I think that there's probably more than enough arenas or other areas out there that can help. But I think the biggest thing that I have seen is that people just don't know what direction to go, whether it's to go left or right, straight forward or backwards. And I think the items that most people need help with is just planning, and I think that's where the foundation really is more important, is that everybody has great ideas. And so what I try to do is implement the plans that need to be put into place so that they can maintain their businesses, not just for 30 days or 90 days or 60 days or past the 5-year threshold. So I think business planning is the most important piece, and I think that's what the foundation really needs. And even though I said there are many other organizations that could help these women provide those resources, I still believe that if you don't know what your immediate information is or what you have going on within yourself, whether it's understanding what bills you have beyond the type of business you want to provide, you cannot move forward into being a successful business without knowing your past and your present, and then knowing how to move to the future.
So awesome. And so now you have a talk radio and TV LLP. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, the Talk Radio and TV Network LLP is a collaborative effort. I am actually collaborating with Ms. Ashley Little, who is located in Nashville, Tennessee. And what we've done with this platform is that we have actually are providing a service where all businesses can actually learn to expand the brand. And so we're allowing individuals to have their own shows like this that they can host. They can actually, we provide a service where they can actually own their own radio station as well as become a network like we are. And what that does is provide additional revenues for those who have their own shows or own their own radio stations as well. So we've provided a platform where we have entertainment at its best, as we call it. And really, it's all professional, different types of talk shows, whether it's on health or wellness, whether it's on business, whether it's on politics, whatever it is that the individual wants to talk, and as long as it's created within the realm of what they believe their business is, or either if they're telling some personal stories, like I have a client who has a story about Chronicles, Angel Riley, the Chronicles of her, which basically talks about her things that she's gone through in life. And so everybody has an opportunity to, like I say, expand and grow their business in different formats, which is doing their own show or either owning their own radio station. So that's what we provide.
Wow. First of all, congratulations on that because I know that TV is now the new internet and internet is the new TV. I think a lot of people are creating like interesting ways of broadcasting. We are no longer, I would say, no longer dependent on, NBC, ABC, CBS, all those stations that we used to be so tethered to. And now anyone can go out there and create some sort of broadcast for their platform. And I think that it's awesome that a minority business owner like yourself is out there creating a broadcasting platform for small businesses. And it's definitely something that is needed out there. And I think a lot of small business would benefit and be appreciative of that there is something out there that can help promote their business and bring awareness, because without awareness, you don't get clients. Without clients, you're not in business, right?
Right, exactly.
So,
And like I mentioned
mhm,
earlier, is that we can't always be in the room,
mhm.
all the time to network and meet new people. So having your own podcast show or internet radio show or actual live TV show through the internet, you're able to reach wide masses of individuals. Like our
Mhm.
platform can reach up to 169 countries. We're in all 50 states. We're also one of the top 10 TV and radio networks. So, in the world. So that makes a huge difference that because we don't have the capability or financially are capable to go to every state and, and interview people and talk to people, now you have platform available where you have that opportunity to build yourself, build your business and your resources that you have, your products that you have by sharing all this information through internet radio or through, having a live TV show as well.
Okay, awesome. And then on top of all of that, are you already doing? Because to me, that sounds like a whole lot. I mean, you're already doing small business. Now you're doing broadcasting, and now you're doing book coaching. Okay, I'm amazed. You got to tell me your secret. Okay, book coaching. What is it?
Okay, well, really, what it is with the book coaching is a lot of people who don't have time to, like I said, be in the room to take an actual class or a course on self-publishing your books. So I provide the product and the service as a part of a one-on-one session. So for 90 days, I will work with you one-on-one to help you make sure that you have all the pieces you need to have to get your book done within 90 days. And of course, what that means is that you have to be able to write the book. So most people that I work with have either already started writing their books or they're already at the curve or the end of it, but they don't know what to do from there. So I teach them everything from, what it means to get your cover done, what it means to have the all the other pieces that comes with it, which means it could be understanding who to contact and what it would take in order to get beyond getting your editing done. All these little pieces that we don't think about when it comes to after you write the book. And even like I tell people, once you even write the book, the biggest part is the marketing. Most people think that, if I write a book, that it's just going to sell, right? Well, it doesn't necessarily work that way. So you have to put in all the work beyond that, and between the editing and the reviewing and making sure the cover is right, making sure the book is the proper size, teaching them and understanding what the legal side of it is. What does it mean to get an ISBN number?
Right.
Can I put my book into the library? All these little intimate pieces is what I teach you, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's in a classroom. But like I said, depending on the individual time frame, I will provide those services to them, and they don't have to be local. Obviously, so because we have wonderful things like Zoom and Facebook and so forth, we can do I do a lot of the training through those platforms.
Okay. So let me ask a question. Have you written a book? And if so, what is the name of your book and what is it about?
I have. I've actually written 3.
Wow. Okay.
yes, yes. My actual first book that I wrote was How to Be a Success by Just Being You, and basically that book is more about self-identification, teaching people to understand that your success is what you make of it, not to continue to conform with what society tells you have to be. We kind of get caught up in the world of people telling you, well, if you don't get an education, you're not going to be successful. Well, we all know that's not the truth, but because those are some of the things that people have been raised with, we kind of leave that in the back of our head saying, well, if I don't take these steps, these 1, 2, 3 steps, then I'm not going to be the person that I need to be. I teach people to learn to look at themselves and say, what is it that you want to do? How is this going to make you successful? But you define that, and nobody else does. So that's my first book that I actually had brought out in 2008. And then my other book, of course, is a memoir, Deception of the Heart, a real look into domestic violence. This is my true story about being a survivor. Normally, I don't like to use that word, but during that time, as I was writing the memoir and completing that, I had been a survivor of domestic abuse. And so I actually teach people about the story, but I also teach them that what do you do once you come out of that? You have to learn to be able to move forward in your life. If you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you're never going to let go of what used to be. And so I actually teach women and men who have been abused to understand that you're worthy of much more in your life. And so that's what that book's actually pertaining about. And then my most recent book is called Are You Living or Existing? The Pros and Cons of Balancing Life. And that's really another book where you kind of look at your self-assessment about who you are and then what are you doing with your life? Are you really truly being the best you? Are you just living through the lens of other people in order to feel satisfied? So that's what that teaches.
Wow. I would have to say, Kimberly, I would say in the last couple of years, there's just been this huge burst of people just really recognizing their purpose and their passion, and they're coming out in so many different ways. It's manifesting so many different ways. And just listening to your story today, how you going from military to entrepreneurship to book coaching to writing your book and helping people with their business and all of these mix of things. I hope that people are really taking it in that this is something that if you haven't found what is fulfilling you in your life, that somebody on this podcast can help you figure that out because that's what everybody is doing. And it is definitely something that leads to success. And I think that you have done successful. So for people who are listening to this podcast, what are you doing? I have the question for the audience and maybe I can get some feedback for this. What have
Mhm.
you done in like your life that is making you successful and feel purposeful? And definitely, Kimberly, you are well-rounded for sure. I mean, that is like the epitome of the word well-rounded. Because that's what my grandmother used to say all the time. You need to be so well-rounded and versed in a lot of things. And I think that that is almost saying that you basically mastered your actual purpose and your fulfillment. And so I, first of all, congratulate you on your 3 books. And so where can they find a book? Can they find your book like on Amazon or on your website?
Well, absolutely. All my books can be purchased through Amazon. They also are on Barnes and Nobles as well, and then they could also purchase them directly from me, which is even better because you get an autographed copy if you get them directly through me. And so, if you want to have that autographed copy, you can reach out to me through
Hmm.
email, which will be at KimberlyMMcLemore@gmail.com. And then the
Hmm.
actual website is definitely coming up soon, so you'll be able to purchase the books directly from the
Hmm.
website through my author
Hmm.
Kimberly M website.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's the way that you can actually get any of the books.
Okay. Can you share with the audience maybe like 3 tips on if someone wanted to either do small business coaching or even help someone write a book or maybe both, what would be the best way that they could do what you do?
Well, I think the first thing to do as a first tip would be to write down the things that you're passionate about. And if you find yourself consistently writing the same thing down over and over and over, then that should be telling you that's what you should be doing. Then once you've done that, of course, the big thing is research. What I find is that most people don't take the time to research what it is that they're passionate about to see if it's something that's necessary and needed within your community, and to make sure and understand that even though you may be very good at what it is that you're passionate about, understand that you are not the only individual out here who is doing that. So you have to be unique. What is it that's going to make you stand out? What is it going to be your true purpose beyond just the passion that you are dealing with. So obviously, once you figure out what you want to do, the second step, of course, like I said, is research, and then the third step I would say is execute. It's one thing to dream and talk about, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but it means nothing if you don't execute. It means nothing if you don't put the plan that you've developed and put it into place and to put it into action. And a lot of people are good talkers, and a lot of people have all these great ideas and desires, but a big part of it is people aren't willing to allow themselves to, crawl first and then start to walk and then to run. So take your time. Realize that being in business that you're not going to be an overnight success all the time. There are very few people who are out here who can become an overnight success. And even once you do become that success, it's continual hard work. Um,
Yes,
and
it
you and I
is.
talk about that all the time. It's
Hmm.
one of those situations where we have the opportunity now to have social media, where many years ago social media was not a part of that. You have to take that to your advantage. That's what keeps you alive. I always explain to people, I'm constantly reinventing myself, but doing it in a way where it coincides with everything that I do. Like you talked about earlier, I'm a book coach. I'm also a certified self-publishing trainer. I'm a small business consulting. All of that intertwines together because a lot of people don't even look at the fact that when you become an author, you are actually becoming an entrepreneur. And it amazes me how many people forget that oh, I'm selling a book, I still got to pay Uncle Sam. None of those things go away just because you become an author. So, it's taking the time to really just truly grow yourself and understand, get a great mentor as well, but make sure that the mentor that you are working with is somebody who actually believes in your goals and what you're doing. Don't allow that individual to take over what you're doing, but allow them to help enhance what it is that you're trying to do.
Fantastic. Here's a question I have also. Um, what activities or events are you going to be having in, around the podcast time or maybe even after where people can come out and get some information or see you in person?
Well, I have huge event coming up really soon. As a matter of fact, in the week, I will be actually going back to Atlanta, Georgia. I will be doing a book signing and a lecture at the Madu Bookstore, which is the largest second Black-owned, African American-owned bookstore in Atlanta. So that's really exciting. I was there earlier last year, and so I had the opportunity. I was asked to come back, so I'm really looking forward to that. And as far as locally, right now I've been really rebuilding my thought process of how I'm doing events. So I will be having another event in Easton, Pennsylvania coming up in August, and then I will be having another event here locally in the area. Haven't defined the date yet, but for those who want to reach out to me or want to hear me, you're more, you hear I'm every week on all of my podcast shows. So Thursday nights is the WSBI Your Resource for Success podcast at 7 p.m. And then, like I
Hmm.
said, on the Author's Corner, I have that monthly, and so that show will be coming up soon. Every month, having some great guests come on there for an hour show from 7 to 8. And then I also have another show that I've been doing monthly, and it's called the Lady K and Mr. T show. And so I have a co-host. The gentleman's name is Tariq Scott. So we have a phenomenal show where we do talk more about the local events that are going on in our community, and we actually have a great one topic that we really go over and help individuals think about. And we have people call in and ask us questions. So it's another opportunity that if you wanted to reach out and talk to me or just hear what I have to say or what we're talking about, you can listen to that show. And then the other thing that I have going on is that I'm actually going to be developing and providing soon, which is going to be an on-demand self-publishing workshop. So I've been doing a lot of things in the behind the scenes, here lately. So I'm really excited
Hmm.
about things coming out soon.
Wow. Okay, guys. For those who's listening, if you didn't hear what she said and all those things, what I got out of that is time management. Okay. She is doing it all. You have so many shows. I'm sitting here trying to figure out which month of show I'm going to be like tapping into because you have so many, and that is so fantastic. And if anyone is listening, and I'm pretty sure that you are, please make sure you go down to the bottom of her page and click on some of the links so that you can get subscribed to her shows for either through Facebook or YouTube, whatever link that she has down here for her website or her books or her courses or her small business. And we can go on and on. Just make sure that you are clicking on that and reaching out to her so that you can get the information. And so I have one final question. I always love asking this question because it always stumps people. So I'm going to ask you. So, what do you need personally and professionally to thrive and to keep doing what you're doing? What do you need?
Well, what I need personally is probably more sleep. So, and actually, John just needing more sleep. I think a big part of it is constantly having the great team that I have in place with me. I have a small team, but I love them to death. They're trustworthy. They work hard with me, and they believe in my vision, and that's the thing that really helps with me personally and professionally. And then I think just constant growing and mentoring. I like to be have the opportunity to get more mentoring, of course, because I think it's always a good piece. So I have been able to have the opportunity to reach out with other people here recently as I feel as a level to where I definitely want to be here within another year or so. So having an opportunity to be mentored with a few other individuals has been something that is going to be beneficial for me personally and professionally more than just personally.
So there you have it, folks. Kimberly McLemore here as a corporate sponsor, just giving you guys nuggets on how to do your business, be successful, manage your time, and also invest in yourself. And those are the 4 things that you need to write down and invest in yourself if you are trying to start a business or write a book or teach someone to be a coach. So again, please make sure that if you like this podcast interview, please like, share, and vote. Vote for your favorite and help them win one of the 7 BMWC awards that's coming out this year. And also make sure to remind you to please visit all the other pages, check out the podcast recordings, and also check out prior years. We have 2016, 2017, and 2018. And so with that, I want to thank you, Ms. McLemore, for being a corporate sponsor and for being on the platform and giving your information today.
Thank you again for having me.